In June of 2011, I was recovering from one of those annoying summertime colds. I had the usual symptoms: a sore throat, a runny nose, a bit of a cough, and swollen glands in my neck. I noticed, however, that after most of the symptoms were gone, the swollen lymph gland on the left side of my neck hadn't gone away. So like a dummy, I kept it to myself, hoping that it would get better, just like it always had in the past. Well, it didn't get any better. And a few weeks later, we were in Lake Tahoe for the 4th of July holiday. And as I remember, that was about the time I really started to get concerned about it. I decided not to alarm my family by bringing it up during our vacation and would wait until we returned home to see my doctor about it. When we got back home, I scheduled the visit with my doctor, and during the appointment, she decided to put me on antibiotics, believing that I had a stubborn infection and that the meds would clear things up. She told me to check back with her when I had finished with the prescription. I went back to see her after finishing the antibiotics, and the swollen gland, now with a visible lump, was still there. I was immediately sent to the hospital to have a biopsy taken from my neck, where the lump was. I can remember being in the examination room, feeling the painful stick from the needle, and thinking to myself, everything will be all right. It had to be. Within 5 minutes, the surgeon who performed the procedure on me came back in and told me the lump tested positive for squamous cell carcinoma. At that point, my mind started racing with all kinds of thoughts. What does this mean? What exactly do I have? This can't be happening to me. The surgeon was talking to me, but I didn't hear what he was saying. I just saw his mouth moving. I was in a daze, and he gave me a piece of paper and said that the doctor whose name was on the paper was one of the best around and that I'd be in good hands. I left the hospital still not knowing for sure what had just happened. When I got back to Mitty, I immediately went online to look up what squamous cell carcinoma was, and to my horror, my suspicions were correct. It was cancer. This is where my community, Archbishop Mitty, the place that I love, and the place I have always valued, caringly and unselfishly provided wonderful support for my family and me. You demonstrated to me the meaning of community, generosity, friendship, and love. I want you to know the support we received has been overwhelming and humbling, and continues to play a role in my recovery to this day. For this, I am touched. Cancer sucks. The treatment I underwent to fight the cancer was devastating to my body. I had a 5-hour surgery to remove the tumor in my neck, and another surgery to find the origin of the cancer, which was found to be at the base of my tongue. And during that procedure, the surgeons took out what cancer they could see. I had to have a feeding tube surgically implanted into my stomach because during the treatment, I wouldn't be able to eat or drink normally through my mouth. I underwent 36 daily radiation treatments on my neck and throat and had weekly chemotherapy sessions for 6 straight weeks. I was constantly sick with nausea and all the bad side effects from the combined treatments. Because it was hard to eat, I lost 40 pounds. There were times when it got so bad that I would lay in my wife's lap and cry for periods of time, confiding in her that I didn't think I could go on. And at those times, I would think about my daughter and my son, and that I had to survive. The MIDI community, faculty, and staff organized to provide and schedule wonderful meals for my family. Meals that Rose, my wife, could easily warm and prepare so that she, along with my daughter Marin and my son Rajan, could eat and have one less task to think about in the evenings. My colleagues here would regularly offer their services to give me rides to and from my chemotherapy and radiation treatments. Mr. Helmer from the business office was very interested in supporting me, especially since he himself had a serious bout with cancer a few years prior. He knew the importance of community and the role it played in his recovery. At times, he took it upon himself to drive me to my therapy appointments and to stay while I had my infusions. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with chemotherapy sessions, they can last for hours and they can be very, very boring. When he sat with me, he'd never look at his watch. He would always sit patiently in silence with me or have conversations when I felt like talking, arguing at times with the nurses that he was indeed a family member so he could accompany me to my personal appointments with my oncologist. Mr. Helmer, you are family to me. And for this, I am touched. The community support I experienced would sometimes be offered in ways that I would never expect. One example being Mr. Ab came to me one day and mentioned that he knew I couldn't eat regular food and that he also knew my family was doing fine, having been blessed with all the meals provided to us by our other colleagues. He told me he had an idea. You see, Mr. Ab figured that I would not be able to maintain the yard work around our house while undergoing treatment. So he told me that he was going to hire a gardener by the name of Juan to come by every weekend to cut my lawn and maintain the landscaping at my home. Who does this kind of thing? This community does. You do. And for this, I am touched. Oh, just on a side note, by the way, Mr. Ab, I'm still using Juan, and we love the work he does. In the Bible scripture read earlier, the paralytic's community of friends believed enough in the healing powers of Jesus Christ that they went out of their way to have one of their own healed. Just as God worked through Jesus Christ to heal the paralytic, I believe God's healing hand works through the people, including all of you, which are members of this Archbishop MIDI community. Your prayers, your positive thoughts, and words of encouragement help me to get through this time. You help me to believe that I could overcome the monumental odds in fighting my cancer. You never let me give up. You believed in me when I was too weak to believe in myself. And as one of the lines from our liturgical theme song goes, heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. You all are my heroes. And for this, I am touched. My therapy ended successfully in December of 2011. By July of 2012, I considered myself to be fully recovered. My oncologist believed that I was cured, not in remission, but cured. I spent the better part of a year and a half feeling great. I had no signs of cancer recurring from the tests that I would periodically have to take, and life seemed normal again to me and my family. Now, cancer really sucks. Sometimes life throws you a curve, and it started with another cold. I developed a dry cough that wouldn't go away. It wasn't particularly a bad cough. It was more annoying than anything else, but it was persistent. I checked with my doctors, and they were sure it was just some kind of bronchial infection. After having the cough for some time and going through a battery of testing, I ultimately ended up having a lung biopsy. A week later, I was informed of the bad news, that the cancer was back. It had spread to my lungs and to my brain. Again, as you can guess, my family and I were devastated. We were crushed when the oncologist said that I had stage 4 cancer. The prognosis was not good. I was told to plan for the worst, but to hope for the best. I was told that I should get my things in order. You have no idea how those words resonate when they are said to you. The support of my family and friends and communities, with the support of my family and friends and community, I started my second battle against cancer. And just like before, it wasn't easy. I underwent cyberknife radiation to my brain and had 3 types of nasty, nasty chemotherapy to treat my lungs. The chemo treatments went from July of last year through November. I was really sick. The nausea was horrible. The side effects had been painful and at times debilitating. I also lost my hair this time. Some people thought I didn't look half bad being bald. But I don't know. I think they were just trying to be nice. What do you all think? Or how about this one? Let's see, I think I have one more. And this one is my favorite. After all, being sick, I had to have somebody to supply me with my meds. Just kidding, just kidding. The common thread with the first time I had cancer and the second time around was the Archbishop Midi community, again providing support to my family and me. I have to tell you, it's the simple things that have meant so much to me. Like an encouraging card from student activities and student government. I was given this card by way of Mr. Walker, and just so you know, I have kept it on my nightstand ever since. To the students who wrote notes of hope and prayer on this card, I want you to know that during times when I was too sick to come into work and was laying in bed, I would read the messages again and have a newfound strength from them. This card really helped me to get through tough days that I had. So, all of you, don't ever think for a moment that your words, written or spoken, don't carry an impact on the lives of other people. And then there were words of encouragement from our own Father James. Gentle, wise, and carefully chosen words that he shared with me that to this day I hold dear to my heart. For this I am touched. Throughout this long and arduous process, I have been at peace knowing that if my time here on earth were to be cut short, my family would be taken care of. This community has demonstrated time and time again this notion, and I find comfort and happiness in it. I'm happy to report that I have survived this second round of treatment and that the last PET scan I took showed no more tumors in my brain. and the cancer in my lungs has been reduced to 3 tiny spots, about the size of the tips of my fingers, with reduced activity. I am scheduled to undergo another round of PET scans and MRIs next week to see how my body is holding up. I'm grateful for your continued prayers and positive thoughts. Your prayers mean so much to me. God willing, I'm looking forward to the cancer going into remission. I am happy and certainly blessed to be living in a time where the technology in cancer research and medicine has advanced to the point where people like me have a fighting chance to buy more time here on earth. In closing, I think the words of the late Stuart Scott, a longtime anchor at ESPN described so eloquently the way I feel about my experiences with cancer and how I chose or choose to face it and not let it define who I am. And he said this, and these are important words: every day I am reminded that our life's journey is really about the people who touch us. Think about that. And Stuart goes on to say, I am not losing. I am still here. I am fighting. I am not losing. Then he goes on to say, but when you die, that does not mean you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live. So live, all of you, live. Fight like hell. And when you get too tired to fight, then lay down and rest. And let somebody else fight for you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to fight alongside me. Thank you.
We're not the only family in the Midi community going through this trauma with cancer. I know there's a considerable number of students here now suffering the pain of having to witness a parent go through cancer therapy, as our kids have, or worse, have lost a parent to cancer. You are not alone. Next fall, 2015, through Campus Ministry, we'll be starting a group called Uplift. Our Uplift group mission will be to provide support to you in a variety of ways. Please keep an eye out for more information in the near future. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a mess. So let's call it an assembly. Have a good day.